Hello everyone, welcome to Titan Academy. In this video we will demonstrate the Titan WordAddin. Alright, so before we start, we have our Word open here, and let's take a look at the supported Word versions. So we can see that the Titan WordAddin is supported for Word 2016 and Plus, Word 2016 for Mac, and Word Online. Alright, so first thing we'll do, let's head over to our account, and in our instance we'll be using it also with the Form Titan package for Salesforce. So first thing I'll do is my account, make sure my Form Titan is connected to Salesforce, so I'll grant access. So log in, and I'm authenticated with Salesforce, so we're right now connected to Salesforce. And I'll head over to DocGen SSO and want to make sure that you have the package installed. So I've already previously installed the Form Titan package for Salesforce. And after that, you want to make sure, if you want to generate documents from Salesforce using a Process Builder or Apex, very important to make sure that you allowed API access and the submission is ticked. And we'll head back to DocGen SSO and we'll hit save. Once we get the updated message, we're good to go. Alright, so let's start. So we're at the Word, and the first thing we want to do is install the add-in. So I'll head over to the insert, get add-ins, and I'll search for Form Titan. And let's add it. So while it's loading, I'll tell you what we will cover. So like anything in Titan, we have a bunch of videos explaining what every feature does. In this video, I'll give you an overall overview of how to use it, how to connect it to Salesforce, and some of the most useful features in here. So we have it installed. I'll head over to Form Titan, I'll click it. Let's start, and I'll log in. And you can log in with Salesforce as well. All right, I have a two-factor authentication, so I'm just going to grab the code from the authenticator. All right, and we're in. I'm a collaborator at many places, so I can choose. I'm going to choose my main account and I'll sign in. All right, so let's start. Before we actually start, let me explain to you how this works. So we're working on live data in Salesforce. So whenever you use the WordAddin, you want to make sure you want to generate documents using the WordAddin. You want to make sure that your data is within Salesforce. So the first thing we'll do is insert a field, and let's see how this works. So the first thing we'll be asked to do, and it's very similar to the form builder, is select an object. And you can see that we have a bunch of stuff here like system fields, and if you click the question mark on anything here, it will take you to a quick explanation of how it gets done. Alright, so let's select our object. Let's say we want to bring in an account. And we have to give it a comment, so we'll say get account. And now we can select a field. We can say account name and hit insert, and here is our account name. And we can do insert field again. And if we have a bunch of stuff that we want to select, we can do multiple fields, and I will show this in just a minute. Before then, make sure that you use the same object. If you're getting the same fields from the same object, use the same object from that comment. So we see get account. I can also get a completely different account if I select a new account, but in my instance I want to get the same account. So we'll do multiple fields, and we'll say email, and we'll say phone, and we will say type, and we will say SLA. We can insert everything in one go, and here it is. Now we can style it. So that's the power of the WordAddin, that you have all the styling of Word at your disposal. So if we'll go home, and I will center this guy, and here we can do make the font bigger, and everything is great. All right, so before we actually publish it to Titan and we use it within Salesforce, we would want to know how this form will look like. And for this, we have the preview. And once we click on the preview, notice that we have a filter. Here we can decide which account we want to return to the preview. So in my instance, I would like to return, let's go to my Salesforce environment, and I'll find an account. And let's select Gene Point, and I'll say account ID equals other to my Gene Point account ID, and I'll save a condition. You could see that if you have multiple matches, you can grab the last one, all of them, and we'll demonstrate returning multiple records to the WordAddin in just a minute. And once I hit preview now, that will bring me Gene Point, the account email, the phone number, and the type, and the SLA. So you can see that we have everything formatted just like in that we formatted in the Word. Let's move on to a table. Now, a table is very, very useful in an instance where you want to get multiple records. So for instance, let's bring in data from opportunity, and that will be op data, and let's bring in just the name of the opportunity. Let's bring in the name and the stage. Insert these guys. Next up, and we have two ways of doing it, either with a table or with a section. Let's start with the table. Let's say we want to bring in all the opportunity products of that opportunity. So we'll do line items, opportunity product, and get all prods. And from here, we can decide what columns we want to bring in. So we'll say the product name can either go here or you can go up the levels. So let's say I'll choose a product ID, and now we can go up to the reference and we can bring in the product name from the related ID. This is really great. So we'll say product name. Here we will say quantity, and that will be price. And we'll bring in the total price. Great. From over here, you see you have a condition, multi-cell, column. You can decide when you want to show and hide the cell. If I'll click this guy, you can just select whether you want to hide and show the cell. And every single thing here, we're not going to go into everything. Every single thing here as a video, very easy to learn. Okay, so we have three columns. We'll hit insert table. And if I will refresh the preview, we will see that we have opportunity, op data, and opportunity line item, get opportunity products. So I'll hit the filter and I'll say opportunity ID equals, let's grab an opportunity. Let's say this guy. And we will say that it equals to this ID. And I'll head to the opportunity line item, and here I will say that the opportunity ID equals my first object, which is the opportunity data, opportunity ID. Let's save this, and we can see that we're returning more than one. So we're getting all of them, and we're limiting by 50. Save the condition. We'll preview now. And here is our opportunity name, the stage, and the opportunity products. And it goes without saying that you can style this table however you like. So you can go to table design, even create your own design. And if I'll preview now, here it is. Before we move on, I'll show you another cool feature with the table. So I'll head back to the form Titan Addin, and I'll insert a table. And from here, we can see that we can pull data from either a report or a grouped report. And from here, you can select. Titan will give you all the reports you have in your system, and you can select the report. So let's say this guy, and from here, it will give you all the fields in that report. So you can generate tables directly from either your report or your group report, and that will bring you the fields directly from that report. We can bring in repeated item just like we bring into the table. We can bring it into a section. So for instance, if I'll add a section over here and say I want to bring in the get opportunity product, and let's create a new one for this guy just to be on the safe side. It's not going to clash with the table. So we will do opportunity product, and we will say get op products for section. And you can insert page break, do distinct, everything has a question mark. You can check this out over here with auto page break. You can click the question mark. It will take you to a quick demonstration of how to use it. We'll insert the section, and from here you can insert whatever fields you want from the opportunity line item. So we'll do insert field in the section, and we will say get the field of quantity. Let's do multiple fields. We'll do product name, we can do quantity, and we can do price. Insert these guys, and now again we can style them however we like. Notice that whatever you have within the SF you can remove just to make it more sense. It's not going to change any of your mappings. So if it gets too long, then you can just go like this and it will map just the same. All right, let's refresh, and we have a new get here, and let's set the same condition. We'll say opportunity ID equals to our first op data opportunity ID. We'll save this and we'll preview now. And here is our section in the bottom, and we can see the difference. And you can create a section like bringing in all of your contacts, and you just want to show a lot of the contact information. Then it's very, very cool to have it in a section, and then you can break by every section will be in a different page. Really powerful tool there. All right, next up I'll show you how to connect it to Titan, and ultimately how to generate this directly from Salesforce. All right, so let's refresh our preview filters here. So we have the op data, and we have the opportunity line item get op product, and we will head over to publish. And I'm not going to do anything with the filters now. I'm going to generate a mistake, and I'll show you what happened there. So I'll click, I want to publish this to a new form, and I'll hit publish the new form, and I'll say ops opinfo using WordAddin. We'll publish this, and if I'll head over to my Titan environment, I'll head to my form, I can see that I have a new form created, and notice that I have a hidden record ID here already created for me. And if I'll head over to the get, I can see that I have, let's just make sure we're authenticated, everything is cool, and I have the word mapping for the opportunity, and I have the opportunity line item word mapping as well. You do not need to touch them unless you're going to do some interactive forms, which we will show a little bit of as well. I'll hit apply, and next up, first thing you can do is head over to your word mapping. If you want to preview this directly on the form, then we will do preview before submit, auto preview, and again, watch these question marks, everything here. Some of these we covered in the previous videos, but everything here, you just click on it and we'll take you to a quick demonstration of how this feature works. Okay, so we did the auto preview and we're not going to touch anything else, just hit save. And notice this is FLD2. I'll publish this. And I'm going to get an error right now since I didn't pass in the FLD2. So FLD2 equals to my opportunity ID. And I'll run this. And right now I see information that don't belong to this opportunity. And the reason for this is once you publish, the publish filter and the preview filter is different. So your main record is fine. So opportunity ID equals record ID, which is great. This is what we want. The record ID is the hidden that we're passing in the Titan form. But this guy is empty. So before you publish, you always have to make sure that your filters on the publish tab, so we're on the publish tab before we're on the preview tab, align with what you need. So in our instance, what we need to happen is that the opportunity ID on the opportunity product will equal our first get for the op data, the opportunity op data for the opportunity ID. We'll save this. We'll publish to an existing form. So select this guy, publish the template. Yes, we do want to override. I'll refresh this window. And now we will get correct data. So this is a very, very important thing to remember. Whenever you publish, you have to make sure that you have your filters set up. Another important thing to see, that let's say we had a bunch of objects here, and you should always start from your main object. So let's say you created a bunch of stuff and then you decided that the opportunity line item for some reason, in this instance, would be your top object. So you could go like this and you can switch between them the order. So I will go like so, and then you can change your gets accordingly. So we'll move it back to what it was, and let's move on to the next step. So we have our word in Titan, it's running, we can pass the opportunity ID, but what if we want to generate this from within Salesforce? So if we'll head over to our form settings, word mapping, what we will do is Salesforce button, and we will configure it, and we will say our object is the opportunity and the main record is my record ID. I will enable it for the Salesforce button, and you can run this from a process builder, workflow with outbound message, Apex code, you name it. You have a ton of options here, and everything here is covered by the question mark, so just feel free to investigate if you want to send it from org-wide email addresses, if you want your file name when you email it to have a different file name, custom file name. You can map everything directly from the opportunity object, or use a custom option where you can drop a few fields in here, etc. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Feel free to explore. There is tons of videos about these, all the options here. Also for the filter, if you want certain opportunities to show this, etc. All right, so we're just going to hit apply and save. And I already have the FT generate document on my opportunity. So if I'll head to my opportunity, I'll click on the FT generate document button, and I do not see my form in here. And the reason for this is every form that you want to expose to Salesforce, you have to make sure that you have a collaborator, and that collaborator from Salesforce is allowed to view this form. So I'll head over to my account and collaborators, and what you would do from here is add either a profile from Salesforce saying whoever belongs to this profile, for instance these guys, I'll say they can submit this form and this form and that form, and then they will have access for it. Or you can add collaborator as a user from Salesforce. Let's say you want this guy to be able to generate documents. You will hit next, and then you can say I want him to submit this, this, and this. Hit apply, and then it will be added as a collaborator. In my instance, this is my user. I'm already added as a collaborator, so I'll hit next, and now I just want to add a new form to be able to generate. So I'll click the submission, and I'll give the op info using WordAddin submit permission. I'll hit update. I'll go back to my opportunity, click the FT generate document, and here it is. And from here, again, tons of videos. We could email it. We'll attach it dynamically over here, and again, you can dictate the name of the attached document. You can say bring in templates from Salesforce, set up default templates, you name it. There's tons of options here. Or we can just hit the generate, and what the generate will do, it will actually generate your document. So to understand a little bit more about what the generate does, we'll head back to our Titan builder, and we'll head over to the push to Salesforce. So right now we have nothing here. So let's say we want to create this document into Salesforce. So what we will do is create a file, and the action is create. We'll set the mapping. We'll say the title other. I'm just going to give it a static title from and our first published location ID will be the record ID. In our instance, it's the opportunity, and the version data is word mapping, and that's it. And now whenever we hit generate, the push will run and it will create our file. One thing to understand, for instance, if we will have an updated opportunity, so we'll do update, and our condition will be opportunity ID equals our record ID. We'll hit apply, and now we will update the field. So let's see what we can update on the opportunity. So we'll go over to the details, and I'm just going to change the tracking number to, let's do tracking number, and I can say other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, this can be dynamic from your form depending on conditions. It's up to what you're doing. Apply and finish. I'm just trying to demonstrate what happens when you generate. So if I'll head over here, let's get rid of this, and I'll hit the FT generate document again, and I will generate this. And let's head over to our, once this is finished, we'll head over to our integration logs, and let's see what happened. So the first thing we see, we got an action for Salesforce button. We'll give it a second, we will see that our form once our form generates, we will see that not only we've generated the form, we also updated the opportunities. So whenever you generate, and here you can have a bunch of push actions like creating another object, updating objects, you name it. Whenever you generate a document, whatever you have in your push will run. And here is our file creation, and here is our opportunity update. So if I'll head back to my opportunity and I'll refresh it, and I'll head over to the details, I can see that my tracking number was changed, and in the files I got my document added, and I can see that right now it's docs. And for instance, if you wanted to have it as a PDF, then it's as simple as heading back to the word map and configure. We can say, aside from view with, we can say I would like you the output format to be PDF, and then you can decide how to convert it. You could do Office 365, Titan 1. Let's select Titan 1 in our instance, and if I'll apply this, and we will generate this again. So click on the FT generate document and generate. This time it will be with the new with the PDF format. Alright, so this is great. Let's just take a quick peek on the rest of the stuff we can do here. And again, there is a lot of videos. You can attach to record immediately, and it will save it to your record. You can do Word as attachment, Word as a file. You can edit the document. This is an amazing feature. You can edit the Word document live and then email it from there. Alright, so once we understand how to connect everything to Salesforce, let me show you a few cool things here as well. So let's say, and I'll get rid of this. You know, let's leave it. Let's say we want to make this interactive. What we can do here is insert an interactive field. And right now it will ask us to select a form. We have to select a form where the word resides in, and we have no fields. So let's say we'll head back to our form builder and we'll say text box. And this text box doesn't even have to be shown, so we can hide per device, and we'll head over here and we'll say fill in some data, and we'll insert an interactive field, and we'll select a form. We did not save it, so let's save. Close these windows. Alright, so we'll do this again, insert an interactive field, and we got our text box. And you can decide if it's mandatory or not. Let's make it mandatory in our instance, and I'll hit insert. Let's head over to publish and to an existing form, and we will override our template again. In order for this to show to the user, what we want to do is head over to Signature Interactive, enable signature, and let's select Titan 1, and in a second I'll show you this with a signature as well. So I'll save this and I'll publish, and I'll show you how this looks like. So we'll pass in the FLD2, so we'll get the opportunity information. And here is the interactive window loading. Alright, so once the user fills in the text box, and you can control the styling and the spacing, I'll show you that real quick. So if you click on this guy, you can say interactive margin, you can play with the interactive size. This is all for the word. You can decide on the element style how to place it on the word, on the preview. Okay, so we'll say this, and once I hit continue, it will submit my document. So we have an interactive document, really nice. Let's add a signature. So you can either select a digital signature, digital visible. In our instance, we're just going to do a simple signature, and we'll do something like so. And we will override this again. And I'll head over here and refresh. All right, and we can see we have our interactive field. We can click here to sign, confirm. We'll hit continue, and then it will push it to Salesforce. Since we just ran the push, I'm just going to refresh this guy here. So we see we have a submit from Word, and in a minute it will create the one with the signature as well. All right, so let's refresh it again, and we can head over to our opportunity. We'll refresh it, and let's take a look at our documents. So we have the PDF here, and here is the one with the dynamic data. And if I'll refresh this again, I'll get the latest one with our signature. All right, so this is really great. Another thing to keep in mind, that from here you can do a ton of conditions, and again we have a ton of videos on this whenever you get into interactive, so you can have a tons of fields over here, like let's say a checkbox, and you can bring it into the form as well, and you can have conditions on the actual form itself, map in data from Salesforce, so you can have your interactives pre-filled with information. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration on this. So let's say we want to map, and just imagine you had a bunch of interactive fields in here, and you can map most of them directly from Salesforce and have them on the form, just to give your user a quick pre-fill. So you could do something like in your get. So let's just check out our condition. We will say opportunity ID equals our record ID, and let's map our text box to the name of the opportunity. This doesn't make any sense. I just want to do a quick demonstration. We'll refresh this guy. And it comes right up. And it didn't pull in the data since we running a custom action. So let's just change this real quick. So we will run it on an auto trigger, and I'll save again, and I'll refresh, and this time I'll see my text box pre-filled. And again, you can show it on the screen. I'm just showing you how to use it in a clean way. I'm hiding it per device, and we can see that we have our opportunity name filled in automatically to the interactive text box. Just trying to give you the idea how you can connect both worlds, also interactivity with the WordAddin, and bring in data directly from Salesforce. And here you would be able to set conditions, hide, show, make mandatory if you add multiple interactive fields. Very, very powerful tool. All right, before we wrap up, let me show you a few features here. Another important feature is the usage of hiddens. So always make sure, let's say if you have a dynamic hidden and you're getting it from an object, always make sure that you do not use gets that you're running to get data. You always want to keep it separate. So you can say, for an example, account, and you can select the account, and you get it from parent of op, and you can say, for instance, that you want to grab the account name. So that will be the value of your hidden. So you'll say ACC name, and you will hit save. And if I'll head over to the preview and refresh, you can see that I have a get for this. Also a good idea always to give a comment for a hidden, so you will know that it's a hidden. And you will say, for example, that the account ID equals opportunity account ID, and then if you do like conditions on the table. So you want to hide and show an entire column if, for instance, the account ID, the account name equals this or equals that. It's very easy to do. So let's say you do a column. Instead of an object, you will go to your hidden. You'll say equals blah blah, and then only if it equals blah blah, it will show this column. Otherwise, it will hide it. So this is hidden. Again, we have more real-life situations and different videos for the hiddens. Another thing is a barcode. So let's just get rid of our hidden and I'll remove it. You can see that you have also static hiddens. You can just give a hidden name with a value and then you'll be able to reuse it with conditions. Okay, next up is a barcode. And you can create barcodes directly into Titan and check out videos for this. Really cool. You can map data from Salesforce into a barcode and create your own custom barcodes. And same thing with QR codes. Really, really cool feature. Before we wrap up, one of the most important things here is you can set conditions. So let's say we want to set a condition on this text. Or let's bring in another field and let's bring it from the op data and we will bring in, for instance, what do we have there, stage. Let's bring in this guy. We'll hit insert, and what we can do here, we can select these guys and then insert edit condition, and just like we've seen on the column condition, you can select either a condition from a hidden or from the object, and then you can select if the conditions equal something. In a second we'll see it, but first let's set up the object. So from here you can select any object you're running on your WordAddin, and in our instance it will be opportunity of data, and we will say that the name of the opportunity contains something. So it can also contain a hidden, it can contain true, false, or other, and we can just type in the data, or we can do equals or greater than, less than. Just check out the conditioning videos for the WordAddin. Really, really great and powerful. So let's just insert this. So if we will say contains, and let's take a look at, I think it's wild, and I'll insert the condition. So whenever this, and look at what happened, we have an if statement over here added. So if we have the opportunity name contains wild, it will show this. Otherwise, it will not. Okay, so let's just change the text here to hello, hello, and you can hide and show an entire table with a condition. Almost anything here you can control directly from conditions. So if I'll hit preview now, and we'll preview it directly from here, we didn't set our filters, so let's just do it from the publish, and we'll refresh it with this guy. Or let's just get rid of everything here, and I'll head back to preview, and I'll configure the condition. I'll say opportunity ID equals my, let's go back to my opportunity, and we'll save, and the opportunity line items equals to my opdata.id. That's perfect. Let's preview it. And now we can see we have hello, hello, yet to begin. If I'll head back to Salesforce and let's say I'll edit this opportunity and I'll remove the wild and I'll save it and I'll run the preview again, we can see that the text was not rendered since our condition wasn't met. So check out the video about conditions, really powerful. We have tons of other tools here like watermarks and a bunch of other stuff we did not cover. It's just to get you started for you to start exploring this tool.